G'day, guys. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. Now, just before we get into Cameron Sutton update, a lot of you guys already know out there. You guys know before I do. I woke up a few hours ago, and it's my now 10:23 a.m. So Cameron Sutton has been suspended 8 games, and I think we kind of knew that was going to happen. Like the Steelers signed him with all the off-field stuff going on. I won't go into it. You know what it is. We know it's bad. We know what happened. Not going into that, but the Steelers know that was one of the I guess the result that was going to happen after. The NFL was going to give some kind of punishment for sure. Some are thinking 6 games, but they've decided to do 8 games. Now, before I go into that, because I will talk about Sutton in a minute, I want to bring this up. 91 years. So Pittsburgh Steelers history began today, 91 years ago, right now. That's pretty crazy, man. When you really think about that, right? I'm 34. And the Steelers started back in 1933. So no matter your fandom, if you're 55, 75, 85, where it is, or if you're 2 years of age or you're 10 years of age, this team goes all the way back to 1933. Now, I might cover this in another video during the season, or if I got a bit of spare time. I've been really busy, by the way, guys. Been super busy at work right now, so I'm trying to sneak this video in. But it is kind of unreal. So the record, according to, and you guys probably know this out there, but if you don't, record for the Steelers in 1933 to 2024, 91 seasons. Our record, right, if you've seen all these games, going all the way back to 1933, is 671 wins, 578 losses, and 22 ties. Playoff record, 36 wins, 28 losses, Super Bowls, 6, as you know, and 8 appearances, right? So that's pretty insane. And because I'm going off the Pro Football Reference, and all-time passing leader, Big Ben, Franco Harris is the rushing leader. Receiver leader is Hines Ward with 1,000 and 12,000 yards. All-time scoring leader, Gary Anderson, 1,343. I want to try and figure out how close Chris Boswell is to that. Maybe he's kind of close. And winning as coach is Chuck Noll at 193. So shout out to the Steelers, 1933. It's a long time, man. So it's been, 91 years. And, it's insane. Okay, let's move into the Cameron Sutton news that you guys came for. So Adam Schefter and a lot of you guys out there already know on the internet, Steelers cornerback Cameron Sutton was suspended without pay for the first 8 games, or he will be, in the 2024 season, violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. It was announced today. The NFL investigated in March incident involving Sutton and determined he violated the personal conduct policy. Now, like I said, I reckon we all knew this was going to happen. The Steelers knew it was going to happen. Alan Saunders, who's got a good tweet here too, he says Steelers were very well aware that the likely availability when they signed him. So it was going to happen. It says here Sutton was also going to be eligible to reinstate on October 29 following the Steelers' Week 8 game against the New York Giants. Now, if I go back to the schedule, I still have it here. So the first, we got 1 to 8 games here. Falcons to Giants, the Week 8. And then I believe in Week 9, we have a bye. And then it'll be Week 10. So there's no guarantees that Sutton will make the team. Let's put it out there first, right? A lot of players, fans are like, well, why did we sign Sutton? It's to provide depth. They need someone there at slot corner. Do they go and get a Peterson to fill in? Could be a possibility. But if he is still on the team and he makes it, then we won't see him till the last stretch of 7 games or 8 games after the bye. So he's suspended for 8 games in a row. Steelers then have a bye for Week 8, Week 9. My apologies, Week 9. And then we'll see him for the rest of the games. So this is the point where who steps up? If there is no Sutton, Sutton can play in. I believe he can play in the practice, in team drills, in the off season, preseason. He just can't play in the regular season from weeks 1 to 8. And I also saw a tweet out there too from Alex Kozora. Hey everybody, he said that he can come back 2 weeks before the Washington game. So come back during the bye, right? So it's very interesting, but we kind of knew what was going to happen. But I guess it is news nonetheless. So there's another good tweet here from Alan Saunders. It says, while out, Sutton will not be paid and does not count against the cap or the 53-man roster. He can participate in training camp and preseason. So does he get number 1 reps, though? Does Sutton get reps? Is it the other bloke stepping up? Is it Beanie Bishop stepping up? Do they go and sign a free agent? I know the Steelers, like we can have the conversation, but the Steelers, of course, will have a plan, and hopefully got a plan. I trust Omar Khan, trust Tomlin, right? That's why I follow the Steelers, because I love them and I trust them. They're going to have a plan, but I guess right now we just don't know what it is. We're going to wait a few weeks to see what happens. There was another good tweet I want to bring up by Nick Farabar too. I follow him on all his socials and YouTube. I think he works well. He works well with Alan Saunders too. He says one implication here of training camp slot cornerback remains, or cornerback battle remains, is for the first 8 games. The players, I would say, the current candidates for the role is Josiah Scott, Graylin Arnold, Beanie Bishop, and Thomas Graham. Now, I'll be very honest. The only real name I know on that list is Beanie Bishop. On the podcast today, I think it was Alan Saunders and Farabar talking about Josiah Scott could be an option there at slot cornerback, right? And we're still going to see the other cornerbacks with the Corey Trice story, the JPJ. His second year I think he's going to be awesome. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler. But in this sense, yeah, who do the Steelers then? Who will they? My apology, wrong one. Who will they bring in? Do they bring in Beanie Bishop? Does he start at slot? Is this a problem? I don't know. I'm not too sure. If the Steelers signed Sutton and they knew what he was going through, surely they weren't relying on him the whole time this season to start. Like they had to have known this could not be a shock. There's no way this result of the 8-game suspension would be a shock to the Steelers. So surely they have something in the background moving. Do they bring in a Peterson? Do they bring in another cornerback, another free agent guy? Does someone simply in training camp step up? I'm not too worried about it. Like, this is news. I think it is deserved for him to take the suspension for what happened in the off field. He does get the 8 games here. Like, I think it is well deserved that it happens, and he has to pay the consequences. And the NFL is doing what they normally do in this situation, in those terms, in these kind of little bad actions that happens off field, right? It was going to happen. The thing is now, who in training camp, who's that next player to step up? Do we see a Beanie Bishop get fired up and go out there and take the role? And then what happens at that point where maybe they're moving around with a 3 safety set or a Kazi or whoever it may be, or another corner in the slot? And what happens then when it comes down to week 10? Does Cameron Sutton just get his job right back? Does he put his head up and say, yep, I'm ready to go? Or does the other players on the roster, on the 53, because he doesn't count towards the 53, do they make room for him to come back? Or do they secure their spot? You know what I mean? It's a while away. I think we now know the result is of the 8 games. So we've got to wait and find out. I'm just keen for the other blokes in the locker room, like Nick is talking about here, Scott, Arnold, Bishop, Graham, for these blokes to step up and try and take the role of cornerback or slot cornerback for the first 8 games. Then when that 9th game comes, or the bye, then that's when you have that's when Omar Khan and Tomlin can make the choice. Do they bring back Sutton straight back and he starts, or do the other guys keep their role? That's what I'm looking out for. Alrighty, guys. Hope you guys are having a great day out there on your Monday evening. I believe it is. And yeah, we're celebrating today as well with some news. 91 years ago today, Steelers history began. And like I said, it's pretty crazy, man. 671 wins, 578 losses, 22 ties, 36 playoff wins, 28 losses, and 6 Super Bowls, all the way from 1933. It's pretty nuts. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.